Free company. We are a debt-free company. You want to be with a company that
Oh,
has an amazing past, present, and future? Young Living is the company to be with. We
well,
have
and
farms.
Terry, that is a great point because I would love for you to share like why right now is a fantastic time to start a Young Living business, because I know when people are thinking about taking on a new business, that's one of the big questions is like, okay, I'm looking at Young Living, but is now an okay time? Should I wait for a different time? Like, why is now a great time to start a Young Living business?
Great question. There's a few reasons for that. But first of all, it would be there when you and I were starting off, Beverly, we really didn't have, let's put it this way, Young Living as a company did not really have marketing materials for us. They
Mm-hmm.
had very few things on the website. There were very few books available on essential oils. It was just very difficult. We had to just look everything up. When the desk reference book came out, that became the book where Jan knows this as well. People no longer called us when their big toe was hurting because they could look it up in the book. So now we have all of this information at our fingertips. Secondly, I don't want to bring up politics, but it's true. This is politically a fantastic time because America is interested in promoting natural health, where they weren't interested before. Now it's all coming to the surface, the importance of families taking responsibility for their health. The other thing is that essential oils and Young Living, Beverly, are actually becoming a household word. The last time I was in Europe, Mia will appreciate this. The last time I was in Europe, we were talking to some people and they were already using oils. And they're like, well, what makes Young Living stand out? And I said, well, hey guys, do you guys have a bottle of peppermint? And they're like, oh yeah, and they're showing me their bottle of peppermint. I said, okay, let me ask you to smell this peppermint. And they, took the Young Living peppermint, opened up, they go, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Ours doesn't smell like that. Because again, Gary Young was a farmer. He was a man of the land. And everything that we do, as a matter of fact, Beverly, one time when I was in Young Living in the greenhouse, I saw Young Living employees spritzing the root system of the plants in the greenhouse with a solution of water and peppermint oil to strengthen the roots. I just don't know any other company that does that. So this is a fantastic time. And what I really believe to be true is that everybody needs what we have. I mean, in America, Mia, you may not know this, but in America, obesity in children is at an all-time high in America, all-time high. Even things like heart disease, all these different things, all-time high. So we wouldn't even be here if we were like healthy, vibrant, there'd be no reason to be here. But it's really, we're at an actual crossroads where families are saying, we can't go this drug route anymore. We have got to find a natural way.
Yes, well, and something else too that I think is so important for right now, right now. And that is, you guys, guess what? When the economy is feeling uncertain and people aren't quite sure where things are going, network marketing actually grows. Network marketing and direct sales grow. It's because people start looking for an extra income. They want to bring in a little bit more. They want to get a little bit steady. And so it's very motivational to actually go out and look for ways of adding income without adding a lot of time to the schedule. Here's something else, you guys. And this was proven back in 2008, the last time that the economy got a little wonky. It's like what they say is that luxury goods go right out the window. And what we discovered even back then is that people do not consider their Young Living products a luxury good. Young Living, Terry, as you pointed out, is a household name. And with people loving health and looking for ways that they can support their own health, These
Yeah.
are products that everyone needs, and they will figure out a way to make sure that they are continuing to nourish their body with Young Living products. And Terry, how long has Young Living been in business?
It's about 31 years, my best recollection, probably going on 32. Bev, I
Mhm.
want to make sure I say one thing of what you just said. You guys, in the average network marketing company, the person who's a distributor always buys the minimum. If the minimum is $100, they buy $100. You know, if it's 50, they buy 50. The Young Living average order is way higher than anything in the industry. And those of us that have been in Young Living for years will attest to the fact that we would buy these products whether we made money on it or not.
So, such
That
a
is
good point, Terry.
really, really important. And that is why in 2008, when we had a serious downturn in the economy with the real estate market, that is why, Beverly, our business stayed very, very stable.
Mhm.
It is not a luxury, it is a necessity.
Yes, and it even grew, believe it or not. The number of people who were interested in becoming brand partners, it even grew, which is absolutely phenomenal. And these products, they are so important to our body. And Terry is exactly correct. We would purchase the products even if there wasn't this money-making element to it. And what it's just it's delightful. It's a fantastic time right now to start your Young Living business. And so the question now becomes, Young Living is the right spot. And so something that that Terry and Elizabeth, I know that we often have been asked, or that we often ask others, is like, so why is this now a good time for you in particular to add an extra stream of income into your life? And the answer to this is very, very individualized. It could be anything. Terry, what made you decide to start a Young Living business?
For me, it was because I had such a dramatic experience with lavender oil. And I really believe that every single person and even our pets needed a bottle of lavender. Beverly, for 6 months, all I did was talk about lavender. I didn't even know any other products. I didn't know anything. But I was just so passionate because it was a life or death situation for me in a pregnancy. And the lavender was what helped me. So for me, it was more of I just had to tell people that that's all there was to it.
Wow, that's fantastic. Elizabeth, what made you decide to grow a Young Living business?
Honestly, when I started in my early 20s, music was a huge passion of mine, and it still is. But I had talked to way too many musicians who tried to make it a career and kind of ended up like the starving musician. So, what I thought is, I want to have a business where I can work from home, that involves people, involves health, and something that I could schedule my own hours around doing events, singing, traveling, ministering, things like that. And so Young Living really has proven to be that business over the years.
Wow, that's awesome. And so I know, like, there is um there's a lot of statistics out there about how long it, because I know that some of you guys have to be wondering, like, how long does this take me every week? Like, am I now going to be like a full-time, tree hugging granola mom, or can I actually fit this into my schedule? So when you're thinking about adding just $300 a month to your paycheck, Elizabeth, how many hours would you say that that would take approximately? And of course, it's a little bit of a wide window, you guys, because there's a lot of factors in there. But if you had to guess, Elizabeth, how many hours would you say people would need to set aside for like dedicated Young Living time?
I would say that if they are super focused, 3 hours a week.
About 3 hours a week. I
Yeah,
think that's fair.
I think 3 hours a week. And I think one of the hugely important things is to look at that 80-20 rule. Because if we are spending 80% of our 3 hours actually talking to potential customers or educating new customers that just got started, versus that 20% is more like setting up a website or the behind the scenes stuff, creating business cards, the fluffy stuff that's good for business. But honestly, when you're just getting started with Young Living, the most important thing to do is just start talking to people and start sharing your testimony. And I know we'll talk about doing a grand opening event, and how to actually get the word out there to your friends of what you're doing so that they know.
Yes, that's awesome. Thank you so much for that. Okay, we're gonna go on a little bit of an imagination journey. Okay, Terry is so good at this. Okay, so we're gonna go on a little bit of imagination journey, and this is what I want you guys to think. Okay, so Young Living pays out about once a month. Okay, and I usually plan on around the 20th. Usually it's a little faster than that. Okay, but I just like to say the 20th because I know it'll be in my account by the 20th. So I would love for you to close your eyes right now and just imagine that you're waking up on the morning of the 20th and you reach for your phone to check your bank balance and you see that your bank balance has increased. Okay. You see your Young Living deposit and the amount of money that has been deposited in your check just makes you feel good. It makes you feel like those 3 hours of your dedicated time every single week was absolutely worth it. What is that amount of money? How much money is that? Okay, we've been talking about $300, but you know what? If your ambition is more than that, first of all, if it's $300, you're in the absolute right place. If it's more than that, you're still in the right place because what Terry is getting ready to tell us about launching your Young Living business and how to actually do it is valid regardless of if you want to add 300 or like up and up and up and up. Okay. If your thoughts go beyond 300, get together with your Young Living leader or reach out to one of us and we will help you develop a plan. Because as the amount of money goes up, the hours are going to go up too, right? Like you don't get to just rest on your laurels. Okay. So we know that, but you are in the right place for sure. But reach out to your Young Living leaders so that they can help you. We are here to help and support one another, right? And okay, so that's enough with the boring stuff. Who's ready to get to the exciting stuff of how you can actually do this? Okay, I know I am. So Terry, share some wonderful wisdom with us. Like if I'm just waking up on my very first day of wanting to start my Young Living business, what's the first thing or the few first things that I should do?
Well, everybody might be a little surprised at what I'm going to say. I just ask you to hear me out for a second. The number one thing you can do is improve on your communication skills. Why? Because people don't care how much you know. Like if I knew everything there was to know about Young Living products, nobody cares. People just want to know if you care about them. So learning how to ask questions about someone is the most valuable thing you could possibly do on day one of your Young Living business. Reaching out, letting people know you have discovered something that has been so life-giving, and you are wondering if they might be open to hearing about it. You are wondering if they might have a health concern that they would like to address. Bev, that's how I started. I started asking people questions. Would there be anything in your family that, where you might be open to hearing about something natural? I like to ask people 3 questions. I love to know, what if they say, oh man, Terry, I've been having headaches for years. I'm like, oh my goodness. Well, when did they start? Okay, well, what have you tried so far? Well, how's it working? Well, obviously, if they've had headaches for years, it's not working, right? So after engaging with them, at that point, I might say, would you be open to hearing about something natural that I'm using? Would you be open to that? Another thing, Beverly, is I ask for 30 minutes of someone's time. Because if I just casually meet them, let's say I'm with a couple friends having coffee, I'm not going to fire hose them. I'm going to ask them, would you be open to sitting down with me for 30 minutes? And I believe I can actually help you. And then you schedule a time with them one-on-one so that you know that they are fully engaged in what you're doing. You're not fire hosing them on the spot. You're not trying to sell them in the grocery store. You're inviting them to spend 30 minutes with you. Does that make sense, Beverly?
Oh, it absolutely makes sense. And going along with what you're saying, Terry, you guys, honestly, right out of the gate, the most exciting way to engage with people is, and it's kind of funny because I know people, Terry, you know people, Elizabeth, you know people who have they want to sell essential oils, but then they enter the essential oil witness protection program, right? It's like all of a sudden they struggle to talk about essential oils. So you guys, some real nice low-hanging fruit when it comes to letting people know that you are in the essential oil business is, first of all, if you have email, put it into your email signature. I don't care what, if you could do Gmail, Hotmail, Outlook, whatever. Get into YouTube if you don't know how to do it. And YouTube, how do I create an email signature? Okay, pop that in there. Your email signature, Terry has an absolutely beautiful one. Okay, but it should just say your name. And then you can have a delightful little PS down there. If you're interested in essential oils, I would love 30 minutes of your time and your telephone number. Or you can put, if you have a website, you can put that in there, put your telephone number in there. But your email signature, one of the easiest ways to let people know that you are in business. Also, this is the good side to social media, is letting people know that you are in the essential oil business. It's so fantastic to just start posting some educational materials. If you don't follow Young Living on Facebook, on Instagram, and their YouTube channel, you guys, so much great, wonderful, postable education materials. And Terry, I mean, how often do you see something on the Young Living website that you know pertains to a family member of yours where you just text over the video?
All the time. And that's the thing we didn't have in the early days. And that's what's available. It's so amazing, the education Young Living's giving us, Bev. And also, when you guys join the Royal Dream Team Facebook page, we're always, like when Young Living has something, we're always putting it on that Facebook page. So please, please, please join the Young Living Facebook page and you'll get a lot of free education that way.
Can I jump in and share something along these
Please
lines?
do.
You know, business cards cost money. A website costs money. There's a lot of business things that cost money, right? What does not cost money? Adding a signature to your email. Now, granted, you could totally do it for free, or you can go get a subscription that has some extra fun things. Just do the free email signature. Updating your Instagram page is totally free. So there's so many free things. You don't even have to output any cash. Like, get your business out there to folks in the very beginning. So isn't that a beautiful part of the business?
Elizabeth,
We purchase our products that we use, but oh my goodness.
Okay, Elizabeth, you just brought up something fantastic about free. So think of your phone. Just think of your phone, right? So in the beginning, when I didn't know what in the world I was doing, I called this guy in Florida, a good friend of mine, and I said, I know you're super successful in this industry. Can you give me any advice? I feel so called to share these products. And you know what he said? He said, Terry, get your phone ringing. And I said, what does that mean? He goes, I'm not going to tell you. Figure it out. I'm like, thanks a lot. But get your phone ringing means that you're out there talking to people. You're creating interest. You're creating curiosity in people. And if you're creating curiosity with people, your phone's going to be ringing. Hey, Terry.
Oh, so good, Terry.
Yeah.
But Terry, you also have this other thing that I thought was brilliant. I don't even know if you realized how brilliant it was. So we were at a restaurant. What do you do at restaurants? You've got to tell everybody.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. This is so easy, you guys. So I do have a business card. So I leave my business card with every tip. And it is so crazy. And the business card always has a photo on it, because like in real estate, People don't throw away a business card with a photo. And so you would be surprised. Sometimes the waitress will come back and say, hey, wait a minute, you're in the essential oil business? But better than that, Beverly, better than that, Elizabeth. You know what my greatest calling card is?
Oh, tell us.
My scent. So when I'm wearing my oils, which I do every day, I went in the bank the other day and I was 20 feet away from the bank teller and he goes, and I walked up and he goes, what is that fabulous smell and how do I get it? You are a human diffuser. You're a human diffuser. You don't have to do anything but put your normal oils on. And the other day I went to a fundraiser and there was probably 200-300 people there. And I just put a drop of cassia in my hair, in the back of my head, little drop of cassia. I cannot even tell you how many people came up to me and said, what is that glorious perfume you're wearing? How do I get it? So you are a diffuser, and that is your best calling card right there.
You know, Terry, I'm so happy that you shared that as well. Let me tell you guys, I went out on Mother's Day and I had on a diffuser bracelet, okay? On my diffuser bracelet, I had put the essential oil of joy. And that was, you guys, they went crazy over the essential oil of joy.
I love that, Beverly. I love that.
Isn't that lovely? Now,
Joy.
Elizabeth, okay, so business cards are great, but okay, both of you guys, Terry and Elizabeth, you also, so if you, speaking of free, things that might be free, if you happen to have a printer and a computer, there is a 1/4-page flyer that has served both of you guys really well. Elizabeth has it right in her hand. Elizabeth, will you tell us about the flyers?
Yes. Okay. So this is a 1/4 page. This is a 1/2 page, but these we created on Canva. And it is just so fun because you put a picture on it. Definitely put a picture on it so people can remember your face if you hand it to them. And this is something that you can put on like a community board. And for instance, there's a local tea shop in town. There's several coffee shops that will let people put their business cards out there. So I have found that a 1/4 page piece of paper is much more visible and attention grabbing than just the size of a business card. So this is something that we have done, and I don't have the exact one. This is actually from my music, but it's the size I wanted to show you guys. What's fun though is what Mother and I did is we wrote some beautiful things on the front of it, and on the back of it we said, would you like to join us for a complimentary 45-minute wellness assessment? And then we put date, time, and location. And so when you're talking to someone, if they do sign up to do a wellness assessment with you, then you can write the info on there and they will be able to take that home and remember when their appointment is.
And also, you know, if anybody's watching that's sort of new today, Elizabeth, they might feel a little intimidated thinking, well, I don't think I know enough to do a wellness appointment. But the funny thing is, you know 90% more, generally speaking, than the person sitting across from you.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, you've got the desk reference book that is your best friend. And I like to tell people, you know what? I don't actually have any experience with XYZ. Maybe they're trying to tell me some complicated thing. Let me look this up in the book. Look this up in the desk reference book. So I don't try to act like an expert if there's something that I don't know, but I let them know we have resources right here.
Yeah.
So good.
That's good.
Very good, ladies. Okay, so now I do want to talk about something that's gonna, kind of like Terry was saying, you're gonna have to be a little brave, okay, to strike up a conversation with people. But you guys, can we just talk now about how exciting and fruitful it is to have a grand opening event?
Yeah.
Grand opening events, you guys, they don't have to be as complicated as like maybe what you saw for a storefront that was opening or something like that. But it's such a fun event. Terry, will you talk to us a little bit about hosting a grand opening event?
Yes, I think there's no wrong way to do it. Because you do it according to your personality and according to your budget. However, the only thing I would caution against is having too much food and just turning it into just little social gathering. I would make sure that what you serve are the things like Ningxia Red. Maybe you have some Young Living einkorn granola to munch on. Perhaps you're going to have all of the different citrus oils with water to try. So you want it to be very, very interactive. And then you want to have a small presentation. I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm stuck on the screen here. You want to have a small presentation with plenty of time for questions, because the questions are so, everybody loves the questions because everybody learns from each other. Also, if you have a couple friends that are already using Young Living products, the most powerful thing you can do at your grand opening is have them get up and tell a little story about one or two products that help them. Start with that. Why? Because facts tell, stories sell. By starting with those powerful stories, you've already captured your audience. So it could be as simple as come to my home. If you're looking for more natural ways to take care of your family's home, or I'm sorry, family's health, I'd like to invite you to come to my home to hear about my business, Young Living Essential Oils. So it can be as simple as that. If you want to be a little bit more elaborate, I've done this on different events. If you'd like to take, control of your health and really learn some amazing things, come to my home. And while you're there, you will get a foot massage with essential oils.
Oh my gosh, Terry, your foot massage parties are legendary. Can I just say that?
So much fun, so much fun. And so again, knowing that the time we're living in right now, you guys, people would do anything to just feel cared for and loved on, because people feel they just need that right now. We all do, especially women. Come on, we women need to be touched more. So I love that. Sometimes I'll do it myself. Oftentimes I will actually invite a massage therapist who's using Young Living to come in. Yes, I pay her well, and maybe you can't do that yet. But again, as Beverly said, as your business grows, you can add these things to it. Another way you could do it, let's just say that maybe you have a lot of children at home and maybe you're a little nervous about having it at your home. You could have a little gathering at a coffee shop. You could talk to the coffee shop and see if they have a private room you could use and invite people to a coffee shop.
Yes, very good. And community centers are really good for that too. And so Elizabeth, when it comes to like inviting friends and family and things like that, do you want to talk a little bit about the actual invitations and how people can encourage other people to actually like show up and come and things like that?
Sure. Oh my goodness. Well, so talking about the very simplest way to do it is like on my phone, I just pull up the Notes app and I go ahead and I write the wording of the text message that I want to send. And so you can use similar wording in a Facebook post, an Instagram post, an email, text it out to them. Now, granted, texting, you want to keep it somewhat short. Email, you can be a little bit longer and maybe give a testimony or an explanation of what you're doing. But if you're worried about, I can't create graphics, I'm not a designer, I don't use Canva, that's okay. Add a bunch of emojis into your text.
That's great.
May I add one thing to that, Elizabeth?
Yep.
I love what you said. It can be so simple. And I have seen you use texting in such a successful way. We used to send out all these emails and this and that, and they would get lost, but texting is so personal. So Elizabeth does a lot of texting. And to add one little thing to that, as you become more confident, just consider doing a little selfie video. So you just put your phone, turn the thing around, do a little, hey guys, it's Terry Seacrest here. I've been thinking about this for so long and I have finally started a business and I just can't tell you how excited I am and I would love your support. would you love to come to my home on such and such a day and learn about these products? You know, I would love you. People do want to support you. But
Mhm.
this video thing is amazing. And another way, Elizabeth, you and I use that is after we have met someone one-on-one, we send them a video. Hey, Bev, it was so great to meet you today at wherever I, you know, at the airport, wherever I met you. Thanks so much for, you know, I really enjoyed hearing about your family, or, you know, bring something personal into it. This is a little less than a minute video. They are never going to forget you. They
Mhm.
will never forget you. And this will be a phenomenal communication way.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's awesome. That's a great point. And you know, Terry, I know that when you are out and about and people are attracted to the way that you smell, and you know, you're handing out the business cards to the waiter or like the quarter page to whoever you happen to get into a conversation with. One really important thing that I know that you always say is that you have to be ready for business. So, can you talk to us about how you stay ready for business right out of the trunk of your car?
Well, that is honestly the truth. Let me tell you how not to do it. How not to do it is that I was in the bank when there was a terrible virus going around the city, when I lived in Florida, and everybody was sick. The bank looked like a skeleton crew. There was nobody there. And I had left my office at home that day. And what a stupid thing to do. I could have signed up every bank teller. And so now I have a little traveling office, a little shoulder bag with a clipboard. And you might be thinking, clipboard, what's that? Let me tell you something. When you pull out your little clipboard with your order form, they're like, oh, she's really professional, whether you are or not. They, you know, now, thankfully I am, but I mean, even if you're a beginner, you pull out that clipboard and they're like, yeah, there you go, Elizabeth, look.
I tell them what's in it and then I'm going to share. Well, I'll just go ahead and say, get a clipboard that opens up. It's only like less than an inch thick. You can store all your papers in here and you look uber professional.
Yeah. So what we have in there, we have our wellness forms, and Beverly, you can show people where that's at on the Royal Journal.
All these documents will be available for you guys. They're created, they're customized for you. So don't even worry. We're going to give you these.
But the three most important, I think, are number one, the wellness form, number two, the Young Living order form, and number three, Elizabeth, I think we might be upgrading this one. This one shows you the three ways that you can purchase:
Mhm.
retail, wholesale, or loyalty.
Mhm.
And we've been kind of upgrading that to a beautiful document. Now, that one, to be very honest, I highly recommend you laminate it, because, and then have some to hand out as well. But when I'm just sitting there talking to somebody, I like to have that laminated, because I like showing them these are the three ways you can get started with Young Living. And the loyalty one, which is, you know, we get so many, Young Living is so generous. So with the loyalty, we spend the whole page just talking about that, like one entire page, just showing them the loyalty. Because again, why do we stress that? There's two reasons. One is how generous Young Living is, but number two, when your client makes a minimum of a 90-day commitment to their health when they're first starting off with Young Living, they're going to see a huge change in their health in that first 90 days. If somebody says, oh, let me buy a starter kit, and if it works, great. If it doesn't, it's okay. No. That's not how you make a commitment to your health. You make every doctor you will talk to, every medical doctor will tell you the cells of your body take a minimum of 90 days to begin to regenerate. Now, we've seen things happen in 1 or 2 days with oils, but that is why you don't just ask somebody to go on loyalty, you educate them as to why they want to make a commitment to their health.
So good. And you know, something else too, Terry, that's great to have in the traveling office is the flyer for all the gift with purchases too.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
I almost forgot. So on the first day of every month, Elizabeth and I take that, we go to Young Living, and maybe you could even show everybody where to find it. And we print it off. we print off several copies so we can hand them out about the gift, about the $100, $200, $300 gift with purchase.
Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent. Oh, go
Uh,
ahead, Elizabeth. Did I cut you off? I'm sorry.
Oh, well, the last and final thing that I do is I have at least one reference guide. And we already talked about that. But for instance, you know, if you sit down or you're just meeting with somebody, have a book. It could be this big guy, it could be the one that's half this size, whatever it is, but it's beautiful to be your assistant. I kind of look at a reference guide as your assistant. So whatever book you're used to using, be sure to have that in your traveling office.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
I mean, I've been doing Young Living as a business for 18 years now. I've used them for 28 years, and I still use my reference book almost every day. It's not because I don't know the stuff or don't have it memorized, but if someone asked me a question, I love to say, hey, I think I have an idea about that. Let me look it up in my book. And then if we're in person, I show them the book or I take a screenshot of it and text it to them. And it's such a beautiful way to back up what you have to share.
Yeah.
Also, in your traveling office, Bev, you're going to want to have your personal favorite oils, your personal favorite Young Living products, whatever that is, because the ones that you love so much are going to be the very first ones that you're going to feel confident talking about.
Yes. Yeah, and that can also be like small bottles of the Thieves Cleaner. I know so many people get started with Young Living with Thieves, or maybe you've got your Ningxia Red travel or your Ningxia Red packets with you, and you know, different items like that. But yeah, your favorite Young Living products have got to go with you because that is what you're going to end up talking about the most for sure. So as somebody comes to your gathering, you guys, another really good thing to do is to make sure that you always have your next gathering already on the books. When as you're closing out one class or as you're talking with someone and they show interest in essential oils, it's always so easy to say, well, you know what, you guys, next Thursday, we're going to be doing an essential oil 101 class. Why don't you come back? Or are you interested in essential oils? That's great. Thursday, we're going to be doing an essential oil class. Let me text you the information. When you keep your calendar full and you know when the next class is, it's so easy to invite everybody who is interested to that class. Small example, if you guys who are interested in the business, we will be doing our brand partner orientation meeting on May 20th. And that's going to be at 8 p.m. Is that correct, Elizabeth? 8 p.m. Eastern?
8 Central, I believe.
Oh, it's 8 Central? Okay, yes, because of volleyball. 8 Central, you guys. That might make it a little bit late for us on the East Coast, but we had to plan around my son's volleyball games, okay?
Yes, and it's just for an hour, so we'll keep it to an hour on Zoom. And yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. Tuesday next week.
Yes, Tuesday next week, the 20th. We are excited to do a brand partner orientation.
Beverly, could I interject an idea of how they could spend that 3 hours a week real
yes,
quickly?
please.
So let's say you've got 3 hours a week. That's very focused. Okay. Let's say you start and you make a commitment to yourself to do 2 gatherings a month, every other week. So every other week, 2 gatherings. That gathering from start to finish, you know, prepping, getting ready and all that is going to take you about 3 hours from start to finish. Then the whole next week, that 3 hours is spent calling people back, following up with them, seeing how they love their products, seeing if they're ready to order. You're doing follow-up for that 3 hours the whole next week. And you are inviting people to the next gathering. Now, those people that came to your first gathering, they are the perfect prospect to come to your second gathering and bring a friend. You want to invite them, bring a friend, come to the next gathering. So that is a simple and what I say, a very, very committed way. If that sounds overwhelming, start with 1 a month. But the key, Beverly, to get to that $300 The key is consistent activities that bring in new customers. That's the key.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a great point. And so what is the goal? Okay. I know that we're all excited now, right? Like we're all like, okay, I think I can do this. I can text, I can email. But what should my goal be? What am I trying to hit? What marker am I trying to make? Well, we will go into the compensation plan at the business or at the brand partner orientation, you guys. But essentially, if you can sell 3 to 6 premium starter kits, that means that you'll make 25% on the PV of the starter kit plus a $25 bonus on eligible starter kits. So not every single one of them, but eligible ones you'll make an additional $25 on. So what you're shooting for is somewhere between 3 to 6 of the Make a Shift kits. Every single month will bring in $300. But guess what, you guys? That money is just the beginning, okay? As your business grows for the same amount of effort, you will actually make more. But we don't want to get too lost in the weeds. So the thing that we want you to think about is just the 3 to 6 Make a Shift kits every single month, and that will bring in that $300.
Can I explain?
Yeah,
Can I
please.
explain how it works. If you only signed up 3 people, right? If their order was 100 PV, right on the dot, right? You're going to earn 25% of the PV, so that's $25 plus, or $25 plus the starter kit bonus for 25. That's 50. So if you only sign up 3 people at 100 PV, then you earn $150. Here's the cool thing though. Last weekend I talked to a friend and he ended up needing some oils for his horse. His order was 360 PV.
Yeah.
So take 25% of that, plus if included in that is one of those premium bundles, you earn the extra $25. So that's how you could actually only sign up 3 people, but end up earning your $300.
Yeah, exactly. And
you
there's
know?
other things in there too. There's bonuses and there's this and there's
Yeah.
that. But to keep
Totally.
it simple, keep
Yeah.
that laser focus. And so you might be asking yourself, you're like, okay, that's great, Bev. That's great. Okay, I can earn $300. How much is it going to cost me to earn that $300? What should I be putting in my budget every single month to run a successful Young Living business? And this is my take, you guys. So the reason why we set this class to $300 is because that should cover any of the cost that you have that you have taken in plus more. But that also includes your Young Living products. So it's like your personal Young Living products that you are buying. Plus, we do have a website or an email service that we like that just helps us follow up with customers. It's completely optional. But all of that, if you are only ordering at 100 PV, it lands at about $150 or so. Now, for my family, I usually buy about $300 in products every single month. And let me tell you guys, I haven't had to pay for my own Young Living products for the better part of a decade. Okay. So if you think you can't grow a Young Living business and at least have your products and your costs covered, you are wrong. It's like, I have not paid for a Young Living product just straight out of my pocket in such a long time, you guys. But that is the budget that I recommend that you set aside for yourself about $150 or so to cover products and then also to cover the CRM if you would like that.
Yeah. Yep. Because
Also, Beverly, as you know, as you sign up 1, 2, your first 3 customers, you will notice that your confidence grows. And
Yes.
you will notice that you are signing up more people easier as it goes along because you become more confident. It's just like playing the piano. It's like anything. You might be a little frightened in the beginning, but as long as you know that these people need what we have, which we know that, and that you are helping them, don't be shy. Don't be shy, because guess what? If they don't buy from you, they're going to buy from somebody else. And the worst part is they might buy from an inferior essential oil company that offers inferior oils that actually doesn't help their health.
Yeah, that's a good point. So what do you do now? If you have listened to this, you're really interested, or you've made the decision to be a brand partner, what's next? Well, the first thing that you want to do, if you haven't done it already, is to sign in to your youngliving.com website and toggle on where it says brand partner. It's a simple toggle. You'll slide it from left to right. But also reach out to your Young Living leader and let them know that you would like to be a brand partner and start growing your Young Living business. They will sit down with you and do a life business plan also, and that's going to help to bring you a lot more clarity. And then you just have to get going. Like, make the decision, toggle on the brand partner thing. We're going to show you where to find your affiliate link and your share link and your wish list and all of that stuff at the brand partner orientation. Again, that's going to be May 20th at 9 p.m. If you have texted the word wisdom to the project broadcast number, then you will get a text message about that orientation and how to join it. If you are connected to the Royal Dream Team on Facebook, you will see a post about that and how to get connected. It is a Zoom only class, so we won't be live streaming it. For all of you guys watching the live stream right now, you're going to have to get brave and join us on Zoom, because it is a Zoom only class, just so you guys know. And feel free to reach out to myself or Terry or Elizabeth for the link to join. Or if you're not sure who your Young Living leader is and you would like to know, reach out to one of us and we will definitely get you connected to them. So Terry, Elizabeth, what else would you like to say to any new brand partners or old brand partners that didn't even realize or just had no confidence to want to grow their Young Living business?
I'd like to challenge everybody on this call today. I'd like to challenge you to bring 2 people onto that business call. Just invite 2 people, whether it's current business partners in your downline, whether it is somebody that's been thinking about a business. Please invite 2 people, and that would be absolutely amazing.
Great challenge. I love that, Terry.
Mm-hmm.
Elizabeth, what about you? What would you like to say to brand new brand partners or old brand partners that are like, I think this might be my time?
It's just an exciting time to start building. I feel like as a team, with Beverly and Mother and I, we are geared up to help you guys be successful. And I know that if there is someone in the lineup between, us and yourself, talk to that person and let them know you're excited, because truly, I think this is the best time to start a home-based business. And the network marketing model is one of the best models of the 21st century. So we have all the tools you could probably ever ask for and a lot of experience between the 3 of us. And we just really want to help you be successful attaining your goals financially and building a community. I really have enjoyed the family feel of joining in with all the brand partners on our team and the customers. So that's what we enjoy, is kind of like the team family feel of working a business together.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, Terry. And
Thank
thank
you.
everybody for coming on today. I know it's such a good subject, right? So so also you yourself, looking at you, bring 2 people to that business, the brand, I keep wanting to call it a business orientation, the brand partner orientation on the 20th. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's at night. We don't care if you're in your pajamas, you guys. That is the beauty of having your own business, right? You get to show up the way you want to. So if you want to make it a pajama party, come in your pajamas, bring your cat. I don't mind. You got your baby. We're a family business. It's just the way that it goes.
The baseball caps are allowed, and a hoodie and your blankie, and you're good to go.
It's 9 o'clock at night for me, you guys. That's when I like to be crawling into bed with my cup of tea. So you know what? It'll at least
I
be
was
a
just
tea
thinking
party.
that we might have to require hot chocolate.
Right?
Oh,
That might be a
Warm
requirement.
beverages required. I love it. So thank you guys so much for being on, and Terry and Elizabeth and Jan and Francis and Mia and David and Julie and Mary and Bruce. Terry.
Well, we love you, Bev. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Love you guys. Okay, so we have ended the live stream. And for those of you guys who are going to be sticking around for Leadership Book Club, we are doing chapters. I think I had actually said the wrong chapters last week. We're doing 15, 16, and 17. I think I said it wrong, but we are doing 15, 16, and 17 right now.
Okay.
And here is what we have decided. So next week on Thursday, I am actually leaving. I'm traveling to my dear late mother's remembrance of life out there in Colorado. And I'm going to be gone until June the 4th, but we don't want to fall behind on book club. So instead of meeting in person for chapters, so we will be here next week. Okay, we will be doing Leadership Book Club next week. Oh, you're so, thank you, Mia. You're so welcome, Mia. Good gracious. Maybe I need some tea right now.
Thanks a lot. See you next time.
Yes, Mia. God
absolutely.
bless.
Bye.
Bye-bye, dear.
Bye.
For the Wednesday that I'll be gone, and I think, let me just look at my calendar quick. I'm just going to write out the notes for that chapter, and we'll just kind of notes it. I mean, I would love it if you guys wanted to meet live without me, because then we would have the recording in case people are following along with us after the fact. But I will be gone, let me see here, for 2 Wednesdays. I'll be gone Wednesday the 28th, and then I will be traveling back on June the 4th. So that's 2 Wednesdays that I will not be here for Leadership Book Club.
Do you
Okay.
want us to just keep this going after Wednesday Wisdom and
love it.
talk
I think
amongst
that would be
ourselves?
great.
I don't mind. I mean, I can either help spearhead it, or Jan, I know you're a great reader and love sharing things too. So
Yeah, I think that that would be fantastic, because the reason why I love that is because that means that we actually finish this before convention.
yeah.
And then after convention, you guys, our next Leadership Book Club book, if you want to call it that, is going to be The Professional Inviter by Tim Sales. One of the absolute best programs I ever went through when I was starting my Young Living business. And it really gives you the verbiage for how to talk to people and to invite them into what you have going on, as opposed to just like, buy my stuff, buy my products, you know, come do my business. It's just such a beautiful way to overcome objections, to start conversations, to get those conversations to actually go into something that could lead to an addition to your business. You know, it can be really confusing and it can be really hard. So we're doing Professional Inviter after we're done with one gift. And I think it's fantastic that that Professional Inviter will start right after convention. I mean,
Yeah.
what a great, you know, we'll just be able to take all of the momentum of convention and pull it into that 6-week course. So
What I think is nice too, hopefully with today and next Tuesday's business orientation, we can really reach out to new business builders, or even current ones that just want some good support, and invite them to that book club. I think we have a wonderful opportunity here.
yeah, I agree. I
What do you
agree.
think, Aunt Jan? Do you know anybody that would want to do it?
Yeah, I definitely think we could find some people that would like to do it. And that sounds so familiar to me. It's been a long time, I think, since maybe I've looked at that material, but anytime you can help people with the words of how to share and how to invite, because that's the scariest thing, because nobody likes to have somebody tell them no. But I mean, Terry always has such the great thing with ask
The
3
best
times.
part. Yeah.
And asking has nothing to do with the products. It has to do with who are they? Where are they at in their life? And what challenges do they have? It's nothing to do with what you're trying to sell them. And I'm sure Tim has that same deal. So I think it's a great idea. And I think we could definitely continue. I've got to run back and get my book. I left it in the other room.
Yeah, I need to too.
All right. 5-second break, you
Okay,
guys. Go
run,
get your book.
run, run.
Okay.
And hello, everybody who's on Clubhouse. Welcome to Leadership Book Club. All right. And on Clubhouse, we have a small moment of silence here while Jan and Elizabeth are grabbing their books.
Back.
Awesome.
So can I just say today is non-stop. I woke up at 7 a.m., left the house at 7:30, got to the barn, rode a horse, drove home, showered, did Wednesday Wisdom, now book club. Right after this, I teach 2 piano lessons. And right after that, I go to Shriner University because there's a fundraiser event that I'm singing for tonight.
Oh, jeepers. I think it's funny that somehow we both got the black shirt pearls memo.
Yeah, totally. Check
When
it
when I
out.
saw you pop on, I was like, oh, apparently there was like a black shirt pearls kind of a vibe today.
I may turn my video off only because I'm gonna eat something.
What chapters are we doing again, Beverly?
We're doing 15, 16, and 17 today.
Okay.
And then we'll do 18, 19, and 20 next week. We were already a little bit behind. I can't remember what had happened, but there was a leadership book club. I think I had to fly out to, I think it was when I flew out to Salt Lake to help out with the book that we had missed a week. So we've been on 3 chapters, which is fine with me. These chapters were so short, you guys. Like 15 was like 5 pages long and 16 was like maybe 6, you know, so it was like these were nice short chapters. They were really good to have together.
Okay.
Okay, so popping in to the book, starting with chapter 15. I always have to pull up notes. Usually I print out my notes, but I kept them on the computer this time. Okay, so with this chapter, Sutron is leading the caravan towards, is it Yathrib? I think is how that's pronounced. While navigating a bunch of threats from like, there's still pirates coming after them, there's harsh terrain, and he has to make a lot of really protective and strategic choices, and also like remove these unnecessary displays of wealth in order to keep unity and just to make sure that everyone is safe, right? And then along the way, he finds out that there's this gravely ill family. They have dysentery. And Sutron is going to pray over them using like oils and stuff like that and call on the God of Abraham for healing. And when the grandfather recovers, it leads to this widespread belief of physical healing in his family. And the chapter kind of closes with these like reflective conversations on adversity and identity and divine presence with Caleb and Jonah.
Yeah.
So
wow. Cool.
yeah, it's like it's a short but very, very rich chapter, right? So the first thing that I want to point out is on page 129, you know, the queen has adorned her caravan with all of these like gold ropes and chains and embroidered works because she just likes to look flashy, flashy, flashy. And he says this thing, he says her opulence and display of wealth never impressed anyone and just created disgust and resentment.
Oh boy.
And yeah, that's a huge example of leading by your presence and leading by wisdom or by example versus by opulence. You know, you can certainly try to influence people by massive displays of wealth, but honestly, it's like how often have we seen people online or in person where all of this flashy display is just not impressing anyone? And you're like, just give me something real, right? So that little quote made me think about that. And then the other thing that he does too is he makes these strategic decisions for group safety. And so he decides to travel kind of like at night so that there will only be 3 hours of sun exposure where the pirates could see their dust. And it wasn't a popular decision, okay? Because here's the queen wanting to show off all of her goods and be all flashy, but now they're traveling at night, so she doesn't get to do that. And so she gets happy when they start to travel through the day again. But it's just so funny because the fancy displays for her are definitely well, they're her priority instead of safety being priority, which is interesting. So as we go through this chapter, we do see the 7 sick family members. On page 130, let me see here. You have this confronting injustice with conviction. And so Sutron says, maybe not today, I challenged him. But mark my words, before this caravan reaches its destination, you will see the miracles of my God. And this is a really interesting conversation because it is the difference between the queen trying to use her priest to ward off an evil deity versus praying and letting the Lord heal someone. So he confronts this idea of, let's worship idols and all of this stuff is going to heal him. And Sutron is going to lean into the oils and the God of Abraham, right? So he is sending Caleb and Enos to, let me see here. He says, take 3 men and ride into the mountains. There you will find some springs, and along the edge of the water gather menthe and achilla. I have time to look up to see what those were. Fill 2 sacks each and bring them back. If you find any ruta, bring a sack of it as well. Remember, we brought some in the market at Najran. I mounted Soltron and rode over to see the Sabian family from Tiz. I know this one really messed me up with my pronunciation, as they were setting up camp. So he gets in and has a conversation, right? And again, we see this act of compassion and courage on page 131. And they're having this conversation about the Lord, right? And he says, if my God is real, you will be healed and will stand and walk from this day. This day will be a witness that the God of Abraham lives. And it's just such an act of compassion. And we do see this a lot. But he's brave enough to ask him. He says, do you believe in the God of Abraham and Moses? And Azad shook his head and says, no. And so that's really interesting because I don't know, I feel like in so many ways we're afraid to do that these days, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever in recent memory recall asking someone if they believe in like the God of Abraham, right?
Yeah. It's so interesting. There was actually like one of my piano students. I walked out to her truck one day to kind of just talk to her about how her son's lesson was doing. And she goes, so like, you know Jesus, right? I'm like, yeah, I do. He is a big part of my life. And she goes, so do you really know if you're saved? And I just thought that was such an interesting question because, like, people that know me, I talk about it pretty frequently and whatnot. But I think because it was a student, we hadn't had like a super deep conversation about faith. And she just felt like she should take it upon herself to like make sure I was saved. And I loved it. Like, I just really admired her boldness. And I told her that because there's probably a lot of people that know about God and believe about him, but nobody's actually ever said, like, do you believe in the God of Abraham?
Yeah, isn't that so interesting? I
Mhm.
hope to see more. Man, I would love it if I was like walking down the street and somebody was like, "Do you believe in the Lord?" Be like, "Yes, brother, I
Do
do."
it, Beverly. Do it. You have the boldness in you.
So, Sutron explains to Caleb, and I thought that this was a really interesting way to do it, because the question was like, do you think God is with us? Like, are you saying God is within each of us? And Sutron's like, yes, his spirit is within us and around us and always with us. Ask for those who know him and they will tell you. Jonah, ask. And so Caleb says, Papa, how do you know that God is there? I mean, around us. And Sutron says, Caleb, did you ever have a conversation with a friend without that friend being present? And Caleb says, no, Papa. And so Sutron says, well, God is the same. If you talk to him, he will be present for the conversation. And I thought that was just such a sweet way of explaining the presence of the Lord. If you talk to him, he will be present. So I wanted to note that. And that is a really good example of mentoring through dialogue and experience as well. Like when Caleb asked the question, is God within us? Sutron could have given this like super long biblical answer, right? But instead he does what we were learning from the downline leadership group, which is he's answering the question with another question. Like, well, have you ever done this? Like, let's kind of compare things and just see how that looks in your life, and then how that compares to our walk with the Lord. So such good leadership, such good mentorship right there through dialogue. So of course we see some ancient healing wisdom in here, right? So on page 130, we already read the section about gathering up the mint, which I'm guessing is peppermint. Okay, let's Google this other one together. This archilla, or however it's pronounced. So let's see what this one might be. Oh, huh. Archilla moonshine shows up right away. Apparently you can make some moonshine out of it. Oh, it's yarrow.
Mm.
Oh, it's yarrow. Oh,
Yeah,
Oh,
so they used
cool.
peppermint and they used yarrow.
Hmm.
Isn't that interesting?
Very neat.
and Ruta, that's where Gary found Ruta on the farm in Ecuador.
Oh, that is interesting. So, and then he says, if you are willing, this is on page 131, I will anoint your head with lubin, which I believe that is frankincense.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, so he's going to anoint his head with the frankincense. And I believe my God has provided for the healing of his children. That's on page 131. But beyond just that, okay, we do have some faith principles as well that I just want to point out, which I think is interesting. So we see faith as medicine. As he prays, it says he on page 132, he raised his hand to the sky and cried, "Almighty God of Abraham, thou art real." And so that is, just using his faith as medicine as well. But then the other thing that he does is he rejects idolatry. And so you see that happening too. He rejects, so Azad, when he is healed, he actually makes that decision to reject the idolatry and to believe in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And so that is a really interesting healing principle for Azad. So I just thought that was worth sharing.
Yeah. Well, that is one aspect of our God, is that once a person receives healing, they can truly know that it's God and choose him over the idols that haven't really done anything for them in the past.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So good. Okay, so now we go into 16, which is also just a few little pages. I'm so happy that these chapters were the 3 chapters that were together. So now we finally are going like back to Sutron's home where Mira is with her children. And the children are really, they're missing Caleb, they're missing Sutron. And they have this really interesting conversation about how Caleb will be different as he gets back. And, I think the idea of people changing because of circumstance is one that we don't like to think about, okay? When we send a child, off to college or off to the military or something like that, I think we really want to believe that the person that we're going to get back is the person that we have left there. And so Mira actually talks to the children, that are with her about this, about how Caleb is now going to be different, not in a bad way, but, he's going to be grown up some. And so on page 135, it says, he will not be the boy he was when he left. Caleb will see things that will change him. All of those things that change a boy into a man really fast. And that's on page 135.
Yeah.
I made my heart hurt. You know why? Because Eric's about to be 18. That's why. And Jan, I know that you have already sent children off into the world to become who they are. And now your grandchildren are following suit. And
Wow.
I'm aware.
That's just so crazy to think of.
It blows my mind. That officially means, Elizabeth, that you have been friends with somebody from the moment that they were born all the way until they became an adult. There you go.
Wow. Go, Eric.
You grew your first adult from, I mean, you knew Joseph too, but you weren't old enough to have good perspective.
True. No, I was a bit older. I don't know. I was 15, 16 when, somewhere around there.
When little Eric was born, when he
Yeah,
was a little wee
seriously.
baby.
It's amazing. Goodness.
Mind-blowing.
Mm-hmm.
I think what's interesting about it though too, not that this is part of the book, but just for a side note, is that I don't fear my kids growing up, but I think what I am aware of is that you stop being as significant as you once were, It's like right now I'm a very significant part in the lives of both of my children because I'm providing the roof over their head and the clothes on their back and their food in their mouths, and I just like have this key position in their life, right? And it's like I know as they get jobs and they're providing for themselves and all this other stuff, it's like your role changes and it doesn't have that daily significance that it once did, and I'm keenly aware of this, so I'm soaking up all of my significance while I have it.
Soak it up.
And I mean, but it is a two-way street, right? Because it's like as my significance, my daily significance diminishes, well, that means that I can be significant in my life in other ways, and we can all go to Italy and put our feet up and lay in the Italian sun and soak up a little bit something else of life,
Love it.
So there is that. Okay. So on page 136, 136, you see this acknowledgement of pain, but while still speaking faith. So we have this thing where it's like, Mira doesn't minimize her own grief or her children's sadness, but she affirms faith and connection even across these great distances. And so on page 136, we see, come, let's sit down in the sand and hold hands with our eyes closed. Let's ask God to show us Papa and Caleb so we can know where they are and that all is well. And so there's just a very tender moment between herself and her children where they are connecting to Caleb and Sutron, even though they're in the desert, and they're just like using their faith to do that. She's not like, guess what, you guys, it's the Lord's will. Everyone should just feel hunky-dory about the Lord's will, because even though I know it is the Lord's will for my own children to get their own relationships with the Lord and, things like that, it doesn't mean that my lack of daily significance is not just a little painful. I wiped that butt,
Oh goodness, you are still quite significant, Beverly Banks.
I am today, dang it. I am
I
today.
know, I know. But it does change. It totally changes as kids get older. And hopefully there's ways to, because I think the parent significance changes. Like it changes in the sense of now a child feels like they can be friends with their parent versus um more of having that disciplinarian or the boss or whatever, you know? And so there can be beautiful ways that it changes.
Oh, I agree. I'm just happy that I talk to my mother every day. I'm like, maybe that'll wear off in one of my children. I was always zooming my mom. Okay, so number 4, in my notes here is that they relied on faith in crisis. And so this life-threatening birth occurs with their prized camel. And Mira prays for Sutron, but then also turns to the Lord, showing how leadership often requires this spiritual surrender and like this inner strength. So on page 137, Mira says, God, please bring Sutron to me now. I need him. I need his help. And so, she's praying for Sutron, and then she says, Sutron, what shall we do? And then she heard his voice, Mira, all will be well. And so you have this, it says, Mira, all will be well. God will touch Ashian's heart. Poor camel. Who at that very moment was telling Joshua he couldn't do anything. Joshua watched him as his countenance changed, and even though he was shaking his head no, he stood up, grabbed some linen, and called to Samira to come with him as Mira needed his help. So it was like, you see this like prayer and then like this immediate reaction. It's like, no, just kidding. Yes, the Lord has changed my heart, and away we go.
Mhm.
Which is
Yeah.
fantastic. Way to go. Woo woo.
Love it, love it.
So Mira really encourages Ossian to step up, and Ossian does it. So it's like through his obedience, he actually finds he was not confident, right? But
Yeah.
he does step up because of obedience, and he finds that he has this renewed purpose, he's got courage, and he has healing. And so on page 138, she was like, Ossian, had you not come, we would have lost both Kala and her baby. God has changed my heart. That is page 138. And like Ossian, he has his work cut out for him, right? So, but for poor little guy. So by mid-morning, he had stood up on his wobbly legs, and he never left the stable until the next day after he felt assured that the new little one was doing well. Yay, saving the camel. So this transformation is not private, okay? So after being healed, he shifts into service and he starts visiting homes and offering help. And he really gets into this like true servant leadership, right? And so it says that Ossian would go to all his neighbors who needed help or all who was ill, desiring to assist them in any way possible. So he gets this amazing transformation. And honestly, the community is definitely the best for it, right?
Yeah.
So we have, burning in this one on page 136, they will burn frankincense, right? For that emotional and spiritual cleansing. And then they also boil myrrh for birth support.
Yeah.
So myrrh and
Yeah.
birthing always seems to have gone hand in hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, myrrh and birthing. Let's stock up on myrrh. Bro.
Let's see if there's anything. Oh, that was the other thing too. Am I still in? Yeah. Okay. So offering hands-on support, and not just advice is really good too.
Ossian really makes a change of heart, doesn't he? So cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
On that day forth, Cassian would go visit all of his neighbors. It's fantastic. Okay. Chapter 17. This was the shortest chapter ever. I want to say it was like 3 pages long. Like I said, it was amazing that these 3 chapters were the 3 that we had to tackle this week. I was like, well, that was fast.
Awesome.
So you've got the queen, you've got the queen's attendants, right?
Mm-hmm.
Queen's assistant, Enos the healer. So Sutron is sensing, you know, he as his family is praying for him, he's kind of like feeling the weight of the separation from his wife and his family, right? But he does feel that strong spiritual connection, which is great. And he kind of like reflects on his promise to bring Caleb home safely. So as the caravan is continuing past Al-Ula, I think. Al-Ula? I don't know. Sutron senses that something is wrong. So again, he has like this other, like he seems to have this really great intuition, right? And his instincts are proven correct when this incident unfolds. Okay, so 4 of the queen's 10 attendants, tens, sometimes I can't read my own writing, they're attacked by black scorpions during the night. One woman actually dies after being stung a ton, and then the others are ill with very severe symptoms. Sutron has to respond very quickly to this and coordinate the healing, but also still ensure the safety. And then he confronts the queen's lack of empathy. He orders the caravan to halt so that there can be a nice, thorough inspection for all of these little critters, right? And so he's going to use the essential oils like myrrh and cassia and spikenard to neutralize the venom and calm down the victims. But 17 scorpions are eventually found, and Sutron really reflects on how blessed they are even after the severity of the attack. And can I just say on a side note, so one of the shows that I like watching is Yellowstone, okay? And I have to watch it slowly because I don't have time to sit around watching a bunch of television. But what's really funny is that I watched this Yellowstone show where they're inside of the tents. One of the people hadn't come out of their tents. They're having to camp in the desert of Texas for some of their cattle. And one of the people hadn't come out of their tents yet. And so they go in to see what's wrong. And she goes, there's a rattlesnake. And sure enough, on her chest was curled up this rattlesnake. And then there was like also, they find like this second rattlesnake in their tent. And so when they come out, they realize that they had accidentally camped on top of a rattlesnake den.
Oh
And so
my.
like one of their horses gets bit, and there's like all of this commotion. And then it was like, so I watched that and then I read this about the scorpion attack.
Horrible.
I was like, well, isn't that special? The two are like very similar to one another.
Yikes.
I know, right? I was like, oh. So I think the first leadership principle that we see here that's Sutron is just, he's super good at, is just listening to your inner warnings. You know, he's just so good at it. Like this is the second or third time where he has sensed that something is wrong. And so great leaders listen not just to logic, but also to intuition. And on page 141, he said that he got that gnawing feeling in my stomach that told me something was wrong, right? And man, I'm telling you, he has really, he's got that intuition thing down pat. Can I just say this? So number 2 is just being ready to act when others are paralyzed by crisis, okay? And I know that some of that is a personality trait, right? Like some personalities just react better to crisis than others. I know I am very much a, listen up everybody, this is what we have to do next. Like take a deep breath and just stay in control in the middle of crises. And that's what he does as well. So that's on page 42. He's just tackling one thing after another as people are fearful and running around. Okay. So the queen is super indifferent, which is crazy. But on page 143, it says that Caleb and Enos came with pots of hot myrrh, cassia, and spikenard and began applying oils to the injection sites. The women were already running fevers. Enos was helping them to drink the water with the oils that had been made earlier to stop the dysentery, which was the frankincense and yarrow and peppermint, right? He said this would help increase their body fluids to dilute the venom. Caleb rubbed frankincense on their feet, and Nadab brought more blankets. Asier stood outside listening until he knew enough of what was happening and left, most likely to give the queen the report. I handed the guard the torch as I stepped out of the tent. The Black Death, I said, as many eyes were questioning. So then he gives, the commandment that they weren't going to be moving on. So, but yeah. Anyway, was good. So even when faced with the queen's indifference, Sutron holds his ground and his authority and his compassion. And so she's, kind of whining and complaining. But of course, he's like, listen, we're not going to move out tomorrow. And he's like, Queen Balkis, I'm sure you won't mind, will you? And she just stands there and glares at him. That's on page 144. Also, he also refuses to allow the caravan to proceed until all of the vulnerable were protected, which is great. He kept them covered. He kept them protected. And so until Kahajia is buried and it's safe for everyone, he's like, we are not moving until this happens. And everyone, make sure to separate your bedding with sticks and check everything before you lay back down tonight. And so that was really good also. But again, it's like for our little ancient wisdom, right? So I have to say that what's interesting about the myrrh, the cassia, and the spikenard, but then also the yarrow and the myrrh from the previous chapter, is that I never thought about using the oils warm, and maybe we don't need to because they're oils, and this is resins, and then also fresh yarrow and peppermint. So I guess they're doing what they can, but to make a tea out of those to reduce the toxicity of venom, never really thought about it. I honestly have never really thought about warm oil. I've put it in capsules and I've swallowed it. I put it in a diffuser. I've put it on my body, but I've never thought that putting it into tea or something like that might increase its effectiveness. And I don't necessarily know if that's true. I just know that whenever they use it, it's hot. And the hot myrrh, the cassia, and the spikenard was actually put onto the wounds, but also they drink it as a tea, which I thought was really interesting. So at the end of the chapter, we do see a lot of comfort and reassurance, okay? And so the idea is that leadership actually doesn't end with action. It continues with comfort and emotional support and just watching over those who are hurting. So Caleb and Enos actually stays with the women through the night and just giving reassurance that they were safe and that they were well cared for. And I just thought that, again, it was that's so tender coming from these men who just lopped off the ears of, somebody out in the desert. It just amazes me that they also have this very protective wisdom, right? Many of the people, though, did not return to their beds out of fear of what they had just seen. Oh,
Just thinking about it.
I don't know if I would have gone back to my bed either. I'd be seeing you would lay there, but then you would feel every slight brush of kind of if you've ever found a little bug in your bed, and then it's every brush of anything you think is a bug or something like that. Just crazy. When we were renting a house out on Ponte Vedra, there was a lot more palmetto bugs out there because it was right in between the intercoastal and the ocean than in my house in St. Augustine. Okay, I don't really get very many palmetto bugs, but out there on Ponte Vedra we did. And I remember one time I was laying in bed and I heard that thud against my headboard. And then all of a sudden I felt like on my head. And I just knew I didn't even have to turn on the lights to know that there was a palmetto bug in my room. Forget it. The neighbors probably thought I was being murdered with how loud I screamed. And of course, my children come in just calm as can be. Don't worry about it, Mom. We've got it. Catches the bug, releases it outside. And so I'm like, checked all through my room to make sure there weren't any more. The kids, no sweat off their back. They're like, well, it's not like it can bite you. Doesn't
I
matter.
never saw one of those. I don't know what they are, but they don't sound very cool.
The gigantic roaches, you know, those big
Oh,
flying
big
roaches,
roach.
the palmetto bugs. Yeah, gross, disgustingness. Well, that's all I have for Leadership Book Club, you guys. Feel free to toss in any ideas that you may have.
I just love this book.
It's quite awesome.
I
Yeah.
know. It's fantastic book. And I mean, I have to say, like, those 3 chapters went by super quick. So I'm actually surprised that there was 45 minutes of info in there. Hi, Michael.
Right. Oh, Michael. Hey. Good to see you. I was hoping you were on today, but you're
I was on
busy with
earlier,
the-
but you know how we multitask. Oh my God, do 100 things at one time. That's all it was. Yeah. How y'all got? How you guys doing?
Good.
I'm sorry. I apologize for coming on at the last minute. I'm sorry about that. But I've been in the background the whole time.
No
Good.
worries. No
Awesome.
problems.
Were you on Wednesday Wisdom as well?
Yes, I was. I was.
Good.
Yeah.
When I didn't like see your name or face, I thought, shucks, I should have texted him just to see because I knew this would be a good one today on business.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I caught all of it. I got all of it.
Good.
So hopefully
good.
I'll get up and running here shortly.
Yes.
Hopefully so.
So I think that Tuesday, the 20th, so next week on Tuesday
Yes.
at 8 p.m. Central Time, which is
Okay.
our time, we're going to do a Zoom for new business builders.
Okay. 8 p.m.
Yeah, 8
Okay.
p.m. Central.
Okay.
That'd be awesome if you want to join us.
All right. I'm gonna definitely try to do that.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
great.
Hello, everyone. Okay, so next week, will be 18, 19, and 20 for Leadership Book Club.
Okay.
And I don't know. Do we know what the topic is for Wednesday Wisdom of next week? I don't remember.
Yes. Hold on. I
I
texted
know
it
we
out.
have all of May, but I can't remember what next week is.
I know. Hold on. It is fun in the sun with essential oils and marinades and oil recipes.
Oh
So
yeah,
we'll
it'll be a
talk
fun
about,
one. I
like,
like that class.
sun exposure and stuff like that, as well as some fun recipes. Getting ready for summer.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, everyone. We will see you next week.
Sounds great.
All
Good
right,
to see you,
sounds
Michael.
great.
Thanks for popping in and saying
Okay.
hi.
All right. Okay.
Bye.